So the goal today was to compare statistics for data sets. So you should already know how to find all of the statistics and what they all mean. So there's two main categories. There's measures of center and measures of variability. Table 2, can you give me some examples of measures of center? Okay, perfect. That should be like, if you don't know that now, make a note card, study it. I linked a Quizlet in Schoology right at the top for algebra. Maybe like if you finish your practice early, maybe you could go through that as a good study tool. You can also make Quizlets yourself. I only found one that was already made for Unit 1, and they're amazing. Great tool. Like I even used Quizlet in college. I would put all the like hundreds of things I would have to memorize for a class into a Quizlet. You literally just copy and paste, and I would do flashcards on the way to class, on the way to my car. Like literally, that was how I spent all my time. And you could like star the ones that you still don't know, and then when you get through the data set, you can go through only the ones that you don't know until you know all of them. So really good study tool, because yeah, you do need to commit those to memory. Yeah. Anyway, you told me my measures of center. Table 3, can you tell me my measures of variability? Okay, good. And out of this list, which two are really similar? Okay, good. So it's almost like two broad categories, and then in each of them, there's like two main categories. You will use the mean over the median when the data is what? Let me ask table 4. Table 4, when do we prefer the mean over the median? So when we have symmetric data, so I can draw a line down wherever the middle of my data is, and it looks like a mirror image on both sides, or roughly symmetric also works. We use mean and what else? Class. Okay, good. It's almost like these are one big group. So whatever you need to do to remember that. I remember mean goes with MAD, because MAD literally stands for mean absolute deviation. And also standard deviation uses the mean to calculate it. You need to make like a mnemonic device, go ahead. Symmetric, I think standard deviation, because it will start with S. But then on the flip side, we have not symmetric. That's when we prefer what over the mean? The median for center, and then the IQR for spread. And then I remember these as its own group, because the IQR you cannot find unless you know what the median is first. Yeah. Questions on that? Glad we didn't take forever on that in this class. So hopefully, you know, hopefully we're going to be notes to memory. So we don't get to be notes to memory. So there's that. That's the main goal. So I should be able to look at two data sets, no matter what they are, and say that one has greater variability than the other. That one has a higher mean than the other, no matter what it is, box plot, dot plot, histogram. So you do have a practice. It's like 8 questions, maybe multiple parts on each one, but usually it's more like intergroup. So like those drop downs. I know that like if you miss it, you already know what the answer is going to be. It would obviously be the other one, but like you need to know why. But if you're not understanding why, please ask. Happily tell you. Otherwise, I'll check in more toward like the second half of class to take any requests on the board. My second hour math lab, it took a longer, like so. You know, it took more of the class time than I had. On Monday is probably when we're gonna do like a bingo game in math lab, but that'll be considered an assessment. So, you know, today's probably the last day we can work on puzzle pieces in this. So questions on that? Yes. Yes.
This one, which box plot has an IQR of 10? Okay. I think that one might just be hard because we didn't like explicitly do that today. But it is good to review. So let's look at that. Sorry, let me reset this. So you would need to know the formula for IQR. So what is that? Anyone?
Q3 minus Q1. Now that is probably the only statistic that like the calculator won't explicitly tell you. You have to know that formula, so if you do that. But if you don't know that formula, write it down, make a note card out of it. It's Q3 minus Q1. Like your calculator could tell you what the quartiles are if you know how to enter that. I highly recommend on Desmos just putting stats and then the parentheses and whatever data set you're referring to. It'll tell you your Q3 and Q1. But on a box plot visually, you'll have to find it. So where is Q3 on a box plot? John? It is on the rectangle, which part of it? Okay, the right-hand side of the box itself. So that'll be my Q3, and I'll just go in the order that it's in. So like this one has my Q3 as about 12. So that would be 12. And then my Q1 would be this other side of the box, not the median, but this side. That looks like it's about what? What number is that? About like 1.5. All right, not quite 2, in the middle of 1 and 2. I know that's not going to equal 10. So then down here, on to the next one, Q3 minus Q1. My Q3 is about 12. My Q1 is about 9. I know that's not going to equal 10. Equals 3, so it's too small. When you go to option C, we have Q3 about where? And then minus Q1, which is about where? And that equals 10. So that's the one that has an IQR of 10. This one, I don't even really have to do the math just because I know it's too small. Like it would be like 9 minus 6, which is also 3. So that's how you find the IQR from a box plot. You have to know which parts of the box plot make that, and then you have to memorize the formula. So a good review question. Out of these 4 box plots, or actually I guess 2 of them have this. But out of these 4 box plots, which one is the least amount of spread out? A, B, C, or D? B. Even though these 2 have the same IQR, this one has a smaller overall range, so that you can also. All right. Other questions from this practice? I did give more attempts to people that needed it, even though they did math. So if you didn't get 80% or higher, go back and check or ask me if I missed you. But what other one? And it can be questions on really anything. Today's like our last day that we'll be doing puzzle pieces in math lab for unit 1. So next week we are going to be reviewing for the test. So any questions in general, anything that's still confusing? All right, well, don't be shy then. Yeah. Keep an eye out for the 80% hires, if you make up another assignment and you wanna get more points for the math lab part of it, just let me know, cause I don't usually check every single thing. Alright, do that.